Hey, this is Cooking with Miss G, and today a pumpkin roll is on the menu. This is what you'll need to make a pumpkin roll. You'll need some powdered sugar, 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a fourth a teaspoon of salt, 3 large eggs, a cup of granulated sugar, 2/3 cup of Libby's 100% pure pumpkin, and if you like to put nuts, you can put walnuts or pecans. The filling is 1 package of cream cheese softened, a cup of sifted powdered sugar, 6 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you'll need some more powdered sugar for dusting the top. So the first thing we're going to do is mix all of our dry ingredients together. So I've got my 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of baking powder. A half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And a fourth a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to whisk that all together to make sure that gets good and whisked together. Kind of incorporates it all into the flour mixture. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to put my wet ingredients in here. I'm going to put my 3 eggs. I'm going to put my cup of granulated sugar. And then I'm going to mix it with a mixer until it gets thick. And then okay, you can see that this mixture is thick. So now I'm going to put my pumpkin in. It's 2/3 a cup of pumpkin. So now my pumpkin's in, and I'm going to just put my flour mixture in. You're going to need a jelly roll pan. I don't have a jelly roll pan, so I usually use a cookie dough pan. So I take this and I'm just going to put parchment paper in it. pumpkin mixture in. Spread it out as evenly as possible. This is one of my daddy's favorite Thanksgiving desserts. So he was happy I was making a pumpkin roll this year. Okay, so you're going to spread it out because you want it to be pretty thin because you're going to be rolling it up in a towel. So we're going to spread that out. Then I'm going to give it a good pat on the counter to kind of even it up. We're going to put it in the oven for 13 to 15 minutes. Always go with the lowest number possible because you can always put it in for longer, but you can't unburn it. So always put it in for the lowest temperature possible, or the lowest time possible, not temperature. Okay, my oven is set to 375. I preheated it, so now we're ready to put our pumpkin roll in. We made deer jerky yesterday, and I put my rack in sideways. Okay, so we're going to put it in for 13 minutes and check it. Then if we need to leave it longer, we can. See you in a few. Okay, so I got it out around 13 minutes. You can see that it's kind of spongy to the touch. It's not wet, so that means that it's done. Let me get it closer to the camera so you can see what it looks like. It's kind of spongy looking. Okay, so I have a clean dish towel here. I put it on this side because this is a side that's not like terry cloth. Then I'm going to take powdered sugar and I'm going to sugar my towel. Yeah, it's a little messy, but it'll be okay. So I'm just going to sugar this towel. And then I'm going to dump my cake on top of the towel. Let me see, it's probably easier to do it this way. Then I'm going to very carefully fill up the sides of my paper. Very gently roll it off so we don't tear our cake. Whew, that worked out beautifully. Okay. So we're going to sugar the top of the cake also. Let me pull it up some. You want to do this while it's still hot, so it's kind of malleable. We're going to sugar the top. Then we're just going to take the end of our towel. Let me see if I can put this back a little bit more so you can see better. There we go. Take the end of the towel and we're just going to roll this cake up. And you don't do it real tight. Do it pretty gently because you don't want to tear it. And if you do tear it, it's okay. It'll still taste good. Try to do it as evenly as possible. Okay, so my cake is wrapped up in my towel. And I'm just going to set it on top of this cooling rack, and it needs to cool for about, I'd say at least an hour, maybe 2 hours. You'll just have to check it and see what it feels like. So I'll see you back in a few. Okay, so it's been long enough for our roll to be cooled. I have one package of cream cheese that has been laying on the counter since we started. So it's been 6 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla And I'm going to cream that, and then we'll add our powdered sugar in. So I'm going to bring that right over here, and well, I think this will reach. I'll bring this over here. I'm going to cream this. Okay, so I got that all mixed together, and now I have this beautiful cream cheese frosting. So now I'm going to take my cooled pumpkin roll. Let me adjust this a little bit. And I'm going to roll it back out. Very gently, because I don't want to break it. Alright, so it just unrolled so beautifully. Now we're going to take our cream cheese icing and put it in the middle. I'm just going to slather that through. Alright, now we're going to roll it back up. Not in the towel this time. Kind of do it gently because sometimes they like to crack. Don't want to crack it if we can help it. Oh, right, that looks so pretty. I'm going to take this and just kind of do it again, because I'm going to put it in plastic wrap. I don't want it to stick to the sides because it rolled up so pretty. And if it doesn't roll up perfectly, it's still going to taste good. Sometimes it doesn't roll up perfectly. Okay, let me get some saran wrap. Spread this cling wrap out. Very gently transfer your roll onto your cling wrap and roll it up. And you can store it in the refrigerator. That helps that cream cheese firm up. I'm going to put a little bit on the ends because I don't want my ends to be open. And it helps it slice better when it's cold. So you want to store it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. I'm going to wrap it both ways. And you can also store them in the freezer. Like that can actually makes two, like the can of pumpkin makes enough for 2 rolls. So you can make 2 rolls while you're at it and put 1 in the freezer for later and 1 in the refrigerator for Thanksgiving. So that is my finished pumpkin roll. When you slice it, it will be delicious. And I hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Bye-bye. Here's our finished product. A pumpkin roll is on the menu.